This is the Johnson 24/7 gas station, located on Route 2 on the outskirts of the small town of Bolton in Vermont. Bolton didn't have a large population. There were only a few hundred people residing here. But this small town was a tourist destination for ski lovers. It was home to the Bolton Valley Ski Resort, where tons of people visited during the winter season. Apart from the seasonal peak in business, Interstate 89 ran through this town from the state capital of Montpelier to the lakeside city of Burlington. So travelers and tourists were always on the go year-round, and usually took a stop in Bolton of many other small towns along the route to pick up a bundleload of snacks or drinks, and almost always to use the bathroom. Stephen Johnson owned this gas station. He hired some employees to work the day shift while he himself worked the night shifts. He and his wife, Amanda, lived in a small house not too far from the station. The days in winter were really short here in Bolton. The sun would set a little after 4 and it would be dark as night as early as 5 p.m. Sometimes Amanda would go to visit Stephen at night, bring him over some food to warm up while she helped out around the store. It had snowed a great deal for the past few days in this small town, and the weather was freezing cold outside. Nevertheless, the winter wonderland only made the holiday season even more special. Amanda packed some dessert and got ready to go out. What kind of Christmas Eve would it be without being together with her beloved? But Stephen had taken the car to the station, so Amanda would have to walk her way there. When she left her home, she literally had to drag herself through a few feet of snow before she got to the sidewalk. It was not just Amanda, but everyone in Bolton was in 10 layers of sweaters and jackets, wearing their hats and scarves wrapped around their entire face to shield off the piercing winds. As Amanda walked down the lonely road, all she could hear was the soft crunching sound of the snow under her boots. She couldn't wait to get to the station and warm up. "Amanda, it's freezing outside. Why did you come here in this weather?" "Who was I going to share these cinnamon cookies and coffee with at home? Did you expect me to stay home alone on Christmas Eve?" "If you were going to celebrate Christmas at the gas station, what was the point of having me decorate the entire roof with all those lights? We should have put those neon reindeers on top of the station instead." "And what, make this Santa's pit stop?" "All right, enough of the jokes. There's some customers coming in." Sometime around 9, Amanda peered out the glass windows, hearing a car stop in front of the station. She saw a man walk out of the car, but couldn't make out his face under the cap he was wearing. He took out a pair of gloves and wore them. Amanda found it quite odd for someone to wear gloves right before heading inside. He walked up to the door and pulled on it just when his hand slipped from the knob. He quickly placed his foot in the way and came inside. "It's quite chilly outside, isn't it? You can take off those gloves. We have the heat turned on real high in here." The man looked at Amanda strange. His eyes were big and bulgy, as he said in a coarse voice, "Why would I do that?" "Oh, no, I just thought it would be helpful. You were having a hard time opening the door. It's difficult to hold things when you're wearing gloves, that's it." "So what to you if I wear gloves or I don't wear gloves?" It was just a friendly advice. "It's better to keep your advice to yourself," the man said as he walked down the aisle. Amanda got a strange feeling from this man. Why was he being so rude? She walked out to the bathroom door and called her husband. "Stephen, how long are you going to take? Hurry up in there." She quickly looked over her shoulder and saw the man looking through the medicine shelves before he went into the second aisle. Amanda returned behind the counter and checked the security footage. The man picked up some more items and returned to the front. Amanda looked at a large bottle of painkillers, some bandages, and a few snacks. She began packing them into a bag as the man stared at her. "So, this is your husband's store?" "Yes." "And you work for him. Does he pay you or do you work here for free?" Amanda peered at the man a little bit uncomfortable. "That's a bit personal, mister. Why do you ask?" "How else would a person understand another? You live around here, don't you? You walk from your home every day." Amanda was taken aback. "How do you know that?" After looking at her for a while, the man finally spoke out again. "I didn't see any cars outside. How long have you two been married?" Amanda started to become nervous. This man was behaving so odd, asking her all these questions. What did he want? "It's been a long time." "That doesn't answer my question. How long have you been married?" Feeling cornered, Amanda replied, "Almost 8 years." "Is this where you saw yourself 8 years later when you married him?" "How can someone predict the future like that? So you're telling me you have no perspective of life?" "I saw myself happy with him, and I am." "Do you have any children?" "No." "So no one is at your home right now. It's empty. You know it's not safe at night. You're not scared of being robbed?" "The crime rate is actually low here. We've never had to deal with anything like that," Amanda nervously said as she gave the man the bag and took the payment from the counter. This whole time that Amanda had been trying to avoid looking at him, the man had been staring at her intently. As he turned towards the door, Amanda breathed out in relief, just until he halted and turned around again. "Your husband is in the bathroom, isn't he?" "Yes, it's occupied." "Are you sure?" "I don't think anyone is in there. It's been a while, hasn't it?" That's when the two heard the sound of the toilet flush inside. "I think he's almost done. He'll be out in a while. You can use the bathroom after him." "Right. Thank you. I'll be back for my car." "Sure, no problem. I'll go knock on the door," Amanda said as she hurried to the bathroom. "Steven, there's a customer here waiting online. Could you please hurry?" The man looked over his shoulder with a peculiar smile on his face before he went out the door. As soon as he left the store, Amanda hurried behind the counter and grabbed the phone. She called 911 while she watched the man go around to the trunk of his car and place the bags inside. As soon as he caught sight of her looking at him, he quickly got into his car and drove off. Nonetheless, Amanda locked the doors and reported everything that had happened to the police. It was just moments until they arrived to investigate. Amanda showed them the security footage and mentioned the man's odd behavior. "This is my husband's gas station. Sometimes I come over to help out. This man came in around 9 p.m. I found him suspicious from the very start. He was asking all these bizarre questions. It was starting to scare me." "Where's your husband?" "My husband has actually gone out to run an errand. He left me in charge of the station for 2 hours. One of our deliveries had been misplaced at another location, so he went to go pick it up. When the man came in the store, I pretended that my husband was in the bathroom, hoping it would prevent him if he had any ill intentions." "Is that the toilet again?" "I've wiped the floor 3 times since I came, Steven. It's flushing all by itself and it leaks every time. When are you going to fix this?" "You know what? On my way back, I'll drop by the hardware store and see if I can get something to repair it. Take care, okay? Hurry back." As the police checked the footage, Amanda noticed Steven pull up outside. He rushed inside the gas station and caught hold of Amanda. "Amanda, are you okay?" "I'm fine, Stephen. Don't worry. Everything's all right." Stephen frantically went up to the police. "Officers, there are 6 cameras set up on the property. I'm sure you'll be able to identify the man." "Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, we've checked the footage, and we actually recognize the man who came in. He's been wanted by the BIIPD for at least 3 murders. The last 2 individuals he took the lives of were both convenience store clerks. He had been targeting these stores at odd hours of the night and kidnapping these women. We were unable to find them until earlier this week. They were found lifeless, buried in the snow in the Bolton Valley. Our specialists have been trying to figure why he's been doing this and if he followed a certain pattern, and we found that him walking suspiciously into the stores, asking unusual questions to the victim, was the same thing he did before he kidnapped those women and murdered them. If your wife hadn't been able to pull off the act into making him think you were here, he might have done something terrible. You're lucky to be alive, Mrs. Johnson." Amanda and Stephen looked at each other in horror. It just wasn't that Amanda was able to figure her way out of this difficult situation, but if it weren't for the coincidence of the plumbing, she might have not been alive today. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.